Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, the past 4.5, 5 years I've been here, he's been the best, tight end. I've been fortunate enough to play against him, and that's a huge reason what makes him, the way he is. And see him come out at practice every single day, even in the meeting room, and how locked in he is. It's something that, for myself and all the other guys in that room, it's you just can't put a price tag on how valuable that is to be able to see that, just the work and the effort that he puts into game planning and practice and all that stuff. So it's something that's made him, the best, and just so grateful that I was able to learn from it. That I'm able to learn from it.
Honestly, it was a little bit of a surprise. Like I was getting my body right for the next day of work, and then the GM called me and said, "Hey, just want to let you know, we're training you can train you back to KC." And I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." The only part I was really a little annoyed about was like, I gotta move again. Like there's stuff over there in my old place that's still in boxes. So I'm like, at least it'll be a lot easier to just put it in the truck and go. But otherwise, I was fine with the decision.
The Kansas City Royals.
Grounded into right field. Frazier scores. Isbell scores. And into third base, Yastrzemski, and right behind him, Bobby Witt Jr.
Ding, ding, ding. That's exactly what you want. Your star player coming through. He thought he had a chance to strike him out for the second time, but that's elevated. Look at that little cutter. Stayed on top of it and found that hole. Boy, that's clutch. Some two-out lightning happened here.
On the ground up the middle, and Sosa is not able to make the play, and Vinny drives in two more in a 5-run fifth inning.
93rd and 94th ribbies. Way to find a hole. What I tell you about Sosa's range earlier. He can hit, but you don't have a lot of range out there. That ball needs to be caught or knocked down or something. Man, Vinny, he'll take it.
That's a big swing, and it's going to roll deep. Vinny scores. Here comes Michael around third. Salvi has a two-out, two-run double and make it 7 for the Royals in the fifth inning.
He starts the inning and continues it right here, hitting around. Royals picking up a plethora of runs.
He has now passed Amos Otis. 993 RBIs, third most in Royals history. Benintendi dives and he missed it. And it is an 8-run fifth inning, and Frazier goes diving into second base with his third hit of the night.
Woo! Man, we might have to develop another term. Frenzy hitting is great, but man, oh man, they are just spraying that ball all over.
It was an interesting first couple innings because for a guy that pitches up in the zone, we hit some balls on the ground, and we were trying to get on top of the ball because we know that's what he does. And he executed some pitches, especially the front door cutters to righties. But everything loosened up a little bit. Salvi hits the homer. And then after that, just the quality of the at-bat, just the understanding of what he was trying to do, laid off some pitches that were up that maybe we expanded on a little bit earlier. I think that was the biggest difference, was just getting him in the zone.
How about those Royals, huh?
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Thursday, August 28th, 2025. Stephen St. John here with you. Jake Gutierrez and Deebs also in the house. We'll talk to Jaime Bluma, former Royals reliever. He's a day swapper. He's usually on Tuesday, but we needed him to come in on Thursday. So as a good reliever, he comes in where he's needed. So he's here today on Thursday because we had Joe Valerio come in studio on Tuesday because he was in town. So we preach versatility and flexibility, and that's what we get. So Bluma's going to be here. While Bluma's in studio, we will talk to our MLB insider from ESPN, Buster Olney. And then after Jaime Bluma leaves the game, enter Gary Dieter and Anthony Sherman in studio. We'll hang out with them for a while. They might stay a little bit later because Jesse Newell will have his hands full because Brett Veach, the Chiefs GM, is having a gathering with the beat writers. I was going to say the guys that write for newspapers, but there really aren't newspapers anymore. Not very many. But digitally, you know. So, guys like Jesse Newell and Pete Sweeney and Nate Taylor and Matt Derrick and such and so on. And so Jesse Newell unavailable for us, but we'll have Gary Dieter and Anthony Sherman work a little overtime. Then they will hand the ball to my man from Mizzou, Chris Gervino. You know, I was reminded that I don't have Chris Gervino on the show enough by Chris Gervino when I saw him at the Missouri-Kentucky basketball game. And I said, we get caught up in our routines and our patterns. We have so many regular guests. And then sometimes I forget about guests that have come on throughout the years and have been good friends of the show. And Chris Gervino is one of them. And when I was thinking about, well, what could we do to replace, no one can replace Jesse Newell, but it's a special day because it's Missouri Tiger football game day. That's right. And I got a new shirt on. How about that? Nothing like wearing some new gear for a new season on New Day with SSJ. Man, football's here. I've been waiting. Are you ready for some football? Yes, I am. I sure am. Tonight on SEC Network, Mizzou hosts Central Arkansas. So we'll talk to Chris Gervino about that at 9:30 and see what he has to say. Have him weigh in on this. Weigh in on the quarterbacks and this wonderful new running back, Ahmad Hardy. Oh, Jake, I know you don't want to love Mizzou, but you're going to love this running back. We're going to be talking about him. At some point, we'll be talking about him and where you mock him in the draft. I'm just trying to tell you. This has nothing to do with Mizzou, Kansas, everything else. I'm just telling you, this running back's something special. And so I'm curious. And again, I don't know how much you're going to be able to take away from what we see tonight, but you can take something away. And so I am curious what you have to say about Ahmad Hardy, because I'm excited to watch. Let the boy watch Mizzou football. So there you go.
One of my favorite tag teams of all time, the Hardy Brothers.
The Hardy Boys, yep. The kickoff's at 6:30 again, but I didn't mention them. Man, football.
It's here.
I'm just going to watch that at home.
It's a school night.
Yeah, it's not even, I just, I want to watch, I want to pay attention, I want to relax and gear up.
Buckle down.
Because next week I'll be down there, and that's going to be
chaos.
That's going to be a lot. That's going to be a lot. I've been trying to figure out how that's going to work out. It's going to work out. But Selena's got her opener for the tennis team at St. Pius on Friday. We're going to watch that, get in the car, roll down to Columbia, watch the Chiefs, stay with a friend, get up, go to Mizzou, Kansas. There we go. But I'm jumping ahead. How about that next week? How about that? We've been talking about that for so long. In a 24-hour period, we'll get the Chiefs opener against the Chargers in Brazil, and we'll get Mizzou hosting KU the next day at 2:30.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's a lot, man. That's almost overwhelming. The Royals' offense was overwhelming last night. And again,
thank you, my friend.
Things started out slow. And you're wondering, like, why are the Chicago White Sox starters such a riddle that the Royals cannot solve? They were shut down in the first game. They were shut down by Martin Perez in the second game. And they only got one hit against the starter on Monday. And they only had one hit against Perez on Tuesday. And so then when you're watching the game last night, and Aaron Savali, who talked his way out of Milwaukee, I wonder what he thinks. I mean, he's still getting paid, so that's important. But he was with a team that could be headed to the World Series. And they asked him, they said, hey, we're really deep in starting pitching. We need you to go to the bullpen to help the team out. That's where you could help us continue to win. And his response was to ask for a trade. Like, oh, really? Okay. We got a spot for you, I think. The White Sox. Hey, it's still a Major League Baseball team, although they didn't look like it last night. Well, you talk about that team defensively, just that looked like they were just half-assing it from the fifth inning on. Once the Royals started scoring some runs, yeah, we're going to mail the rest of this game in, which is fine by me. Take advantage of it. But good God. And so you have Savali on the mound, who at one point was pitching for a contender. Now he's toiling with the White Sox. But, again, he had only given up one hit through 4 innings. And you're thinking, what's going on here again? But then Salvi got things rolling with a solo home run in the 5th. And then by the time the 5th inning was over, the Royals had put up 8 runs. How about that? That was just, and look, and maybe, I don't know, whatever. Maybe that's just for one night. But maybe that just gets them rolling. And they need to be rolling as they come home for this 9-game homestand. But that was,
call me a cop. El gato.
Right? And he pounced on that pitch for a home run to tie the game. And then Frazier singles. India flied out and Massey flied out saying, oh, it's 2 outs. Okay, well, at least they tied the game. All right? At least they're not shut out anymore. But then after 2 outs were made, Isbell singles. Yastrzemski walks. Bobby Witt Jr. at the time, big 2-out hit. There you go. It was still a big 2-out hit. There you go, Bobby. Drives in 2. Then, just like that, Savali was working on a one-hitter. Then he's chased from the game. He hit the wall. And in comes Gilbert. We have a Gilbert now in the sales department. And we have, I tuned in to the program the other day, and I heard Curtis Seabolt talking about, I don't know. I caught it in the middle, so I have no idea how this topic was being discussed, but I heard K-Dog talking about Leonardo DiCaprio movies and he was singing the praises of What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And I'm like, yep, that's right. You get it. You nailed it.
Whoa, I'm not gonna fall.
That's Gilbert. Gilbert Grape. What's Eating Gilbert? That's not Gilbert, but you know. That's a very, very, very good movie. And an unbelievable performance by Leo DiCaprio. Thank you. Whenever I see the name Gilbert, that's what I think of. And also I think of our sales guy now who told us he has a nickname based on that we're not going to repeat because
We aren't?
Nope. We are. I'm not.
Gildo.
There it is. There it is.
Our man Gildo.
So Gilbert comes in, and then Vinny gets a hit that Sosa, the second baseman, he can hit, but he has my range at second base, it appears. And Rex was all over him. They were both Ryan and Rex were both like, yeah, you gotta get that one. And Rex like, you gotta knock it down, something. I mean, it just, you know. He took a couple of steps and went awkwardly down, like trying to, I'm not gonna, you know. I get it. He's no slick fielding second baseman. He's not in the lineup for his glove. He's a bat first second baseman, but I felt like the effort on trying to take a stab at that ground ball left a lot to be desired. Now, it was fine by me. But if I'm in the White Sox dugout, I'm thinking, did you try to get that at all? Or we just going through the motions here?
It's slow and painful to watch.
Yeah, you are.
It's like,
That was like, you know, you're watching Friday Night Softball. My apologies to Friday Night Softball, but like, you know, oh, hey, well, Jimmy really made it. That good play. Yeah, if that was Jimmy in accounting,
good effort.
Good effort. Easy there, easy on the Achilles. But you know, if you're a Major League Baseball player, like, I don't think that was a great effort, but okay. And Ryan and Rex are all over him, but fine by me again. And look, Vinny's crushed some balls that were outs, and so it all evens out.
It's kind of baller.
So Vinny gets credit for the 2-run single, but tip of the cap to Sosa there for his lack of effort. I'm trying to knock that down. And then Garcia walks. Salvi comes back up. He hits a double, drives in 2. Frazier hits a double, drives in Salvi. And then India said, let me fly out again. And that was it. Dust settled 8-1. Boom, game over. Wasn't over. As far as the run scoring, though. Because an inning later, Yaz hits a 3-run home run. Lebo. And the Royals added more, but it ended up 12-1. How about that? An offensive explosion. And to give some support to Ryan Bergert, who, of course, was acquired from the Padres in the Freddie Fermin deal. And we talked to Scott Sharp about him yesterday. We've referenced the Fangraphs article in the past. That yesterday, Nate referenced like we'd never talked about it before, but that's fine. Nate comes in here and has no idea what we talk about the other 4 days or 3 days of the week, you know. I found this article that no one else knows about. Like, we talked about that for 20 minutes, buddy. Soccer? Like, no. But you know what? I like the effort. Much like Sosa. He kind of went after it. You're like, but you know what? He hit the ground.
Thank you, my friend.
Nate dove for the ball. But the point is, it's a good article suggesting that he has some traits that some other frontline starting pitchers share with him. And there's some real reasons to believe this guy is going to be a fixture in the rotation for seasons to come. And again, look, I like Fermin. You like Fermin. We all like the Ferminator. All of us do. That's an easy guy to root for. Was with the organization for a long time, worked hard to get to where he was, and then carved out a spot for himself with the major league team. But Salvi's the catcher here. But it was nice to have. And as I said last year at the trade deadline, and nobody liked it, I said, why not think about trading Freddie Fermin? Now, he was having a really good year last year, and I get his value to the Royals, but his value to someone else could be greater because they could look at him as their number one catcher. And here, let's just be honest, he was a luxury to have. He was luxurious. You know, there's teams out there that like, can we just get a catcher? For a long time, remember the Royals? Like, could they just get a really good catcher? And then all of a sudden, the Royals are stacked with catching. And so even though I love Fermin, I love his game, the way he plays, I've thought that's a trade chip that you got to capitalize on. And they didn't last year, but they did this year. And even though, and look, in some trades, we just, everyone wants to screw everybody in a trade. But sometimes the best trades, both teams win. Because I could tell you, even though the Padres didn't want to give Burgert up, they're pretty happy with Fermin right now. He's played a big role on their team. They're there thinking, man, we got a nice catcher here. Let's go. And the Padres are pretty good when it comes to arms. So they traded from his strength, and the Royals traded from his strength. And now you've got Burgert. Well, what's he done? He's been really freaking good for the Royals. And yesterday, he finally gets a win in a Royals uniform. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. That'll disappoint Mike Boddicker because Mike Boddicker, all he cares about is strikeouts. But he's been really good for the Royals. That was a season high, 6 innings. And again, that's good for the Royals too. He had not been able to get through 6. But he does last night. He gets to 6, and he gets the win. Gets plenty of support. And there you go. There you have it. And this is a guy that the Royals have control over. This is a guy that looks like not just like a 4th or 5th starter. He looks like he could be a 2 or 3. Most consecutive starts to begin the Royals' career with at least 5 innings pitched and 2 runs given up or less. 1972, Steve Busby. 2025, Noah Cameron. 2025, Ryan Burgert. How about that? That's wonderful.
It's a hell of a stat.
I mean, he's come in here 5 2/3, 2 earned runs. 5 2/3, 2 earned runs. 5 1/3, 1 run. 5 2/3, 2 earned runs. 6 innings, 1 run. What a trade. What a move. Jake, I'm old enough to remember when the Royals could not develop pitching and could do nothing with pitching. And then that list includes Noah Cameron, a guy that's come up through their organization, and then a guy that it looks like they just swiped from the Padres. Like, okay, with some really good upside. All right. Good times. And again, much like the Ursig trade last year, this is a trade that helps them right now. This is a trade that helps them in their push to the playoffs. And it looks like this is a trade that's going to help them for seasons to come. And those are my favorite kinds of trades. And we're okay with what they gave up. Again, love Fermin. I root for him. I hope he helps lead the Padres to the World Series. But that's a trade the Royals had to do, and they nailed it.
Yes.
And so even though the offense was the headline, don't forget about Burgert last night. He gets his first win as a Royal, and KC beats the White Sox 12-1. Now the Royals enjoy a day. I'm sure they will enjoy a day off. They'll probably all get together to watch Mizzou football tonight, which I think would be great. And then they welcome the Detroit Tigers in town this weekend to begin a super important 9-game homestand. They root for the Tigers tonight. They beat the Tigers tomorrow. We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. What's up, Kansas City? Stephen St. John here for Diamonds Direct. All people can talk about in this town is getting engaged. Engagement. All right? And you know what? That's wonderful. Love is in the air. I could smell it. And if you're thinking about getting engaged, well, let me help you out here. Go to Diamonds Direct because they have a pretty amazing deal. Buy an engagement ring and you get the wedding band free. There you go. Done. Buy an engagement ring and you get the wedding band free. And they have a huge selection of Diamonds Direct. And the perks keep on coming. Free cleanings, free sizing, lifetime service. They take care of you after the purchase. You can always go back if you need anything, just like I do. Diamonds Direct is direct. No extra layers, no nonsense. Just quality diamonds at a price you can actually feel good about. If you want the real deal, go direct. Diamonds Direct. Talk to Angie, the GM, David, the store manager, or my man Tom, and they'll treat you like a VIP as soon as you walk in the door at Diamonds Direct off 119th and Row in Leawood. Diamonds Direct. And when you go to Diamonds Direct, tell them Stephen St. John sent you. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're now joined in studio by Jaime Bluma, former Royals reliever, who's normally on the show on Tuesday, but he swapped with Joe Valerio because Joe Valerio happened to be in Kansas City on Tuesday, and we've never had Joe in studio, so Joe came in studio, and that was a lot of fun to talk to Joe for over an hour in studio. And so then Joe, when the football season starts, so next week he'll return to his 6:30 slot on Thursday, and Bluma will be back on Tuesdays, but today Bluma's on Thursdays. I hope everyone got that straight.
Yeah, good. I enjoyed listening to Joe Valerio. And Jake just asked me if I'd ever met him, and I said, no, I don't know how often he's been in town, which clearly not a lot. That's why he was in studio Tuesday.
He comes in town for the alumni game.
Sure.
But usually that's, comes in Friday or Saturday.
Right.
And he can't come on the show with us and then leaves, Sunday night or Monday. But so that's good. I'm glad it worked out. And you get to come in and talk about the Royals after they beat the White Sox 12-1. And that was fun because on Tuesday I was mad about the Royals because they had just been shut out by the White Sox. And so this is a much better tone for us to talk about the Royals. But first, before we get into the offense, because that's what everyone should talk about after a 12-1 victory, I do want to highlight Burgert, who went 6 innings and gets his first win as a Royal. And I mentioned that stat that they put out last night, which, again, is somewhat of an eye-opener, but I think it's a good stat, that he joins Steve Busby and Noah Cameron as the 3 pitchers now with the most consecutive starts to begin their Royals career with at least 5 innings and 2 runs or fewer. Steve Busby had 5 in 1972, which was arguably, people say, the greatest year in the history of the world. I was born November 30th, 1972.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
Oh.
May 18th, 1972, baby.
72 things happen.
Oh, little did they know.
Yeah.
My older brother's is 72.
72, let's go.
Look at that.
June 4th, 72.
See? Steve Busby at 5 in 1972. Noah Cameron with 5 in 2025. Remember that? I was around for that.
I do remember that.
It'd be weird if we didn't. And then, there were some years Jake and I might have struggled to recall.
Second half of 14.
Right. Ryan Burgert, 5 in a row. He just did that last night. So that's, first of all, that's terrific. And again, they gave up for me, and they gave up a good trade chip, but the Padres needed him more than the Royals did because the Royals needed arms. Not only did they get an arm here, they got a guy that looks like he's going to be a part of this rotation. If you look at everything that was written in that Fangraphs article, if you've watched him, if you listen to the Royals talk about him, and then you see the results, it's not too difficult to get excited about what he's doing now and what he could be in the future for this rotation.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, talk about a couple things that weren't maybe on the radar at the beginning of the year as far as this rotation goes, and where would we be without Noah Cameron and Ryan Burgert? I mean, with what those two guys have done down the stretch, obviously Burgert a lot shorter stint, but man, to finally get him a win with as well as he's been throwing, especially picking up. Our starting pitching hasn't been great since the All-Star break. We haven't had a ton of quality starts. So for him to step in and do what he's done with the starting rotation a little bit in shambles, I enjoy watching him pitch. I'm excited to see him down the line and where he's going to plug in, especially when, whatever we do in the offseason. Obviously, Lorenzen's a free agent, and we got to figure out some other things. But going into next year, I mean, we're still going to drive and go this year too. But what a couple amazing pickups at the trade deadline in the last few years. Obviously, we got Cole Reagans for Aroldis Chapman a couple years ago, and then here at the trade deadline again to trade from a position of strength in catching, which we had talked about for probably a month leading up to. And I was always maybe under the impression that we might trade one of those pitching prospects in the minor leagues, and not necessarily. I know you had mentioned Fermin, so you being the soothsayer you are, good call. And to be able to get another guy like this to go with the other guys what we got in rotation. I'm just excited to get him in front of our pitching core coaches and all the different things that we've been able to do. And how fun is it? You just said it earlier that we have an opportunity to develop pitching, which we hadn't done for the longest time. You were Dono, Ventura, and Greinke kind of being the only two guys in the last long while that came up through the organization.
A long stretch.
Yeah, long stretch.
And it's not only developing pitching, but getting arms that they look at and they think, okay, we could do something with this. This fits with what we're looking for. Arms from other organizations that they can mold and turn it even better pitchers,
Right.
Get more production out of them. And he's one of them. And you look at some of the other guys that have, Seth Lugo has come here and been terrific, right? It's last month or so, it hasn't been great, but still,
Right.
He's been way better than anyone could have possibly imagined. They've been able to go out and get pitchers and get more out of them than we expected. And now that the hope is, as they continue to pump the organization full of young talent and young arms, we'll start to see more and more guys like Noah Cameron come through the organization and develop into good starting pitchers and good relievers.
Well, I want us to start getting the reputation. I know we talked about it for years about the organizations within baseball that do a great job of developing pitching. It was always the Cardinals. It was always the Rays. It was always the Braves.
The Brewers are up there now.
And the Brewers are doing it now.
The Brewers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just one right after another. Somebody gets hurt. Hey, call up this guy. He'll have a sub-3 ERA. Oh, just
Right.
and that's where you can get to it.
Right.
You're exactly right.
And I hope we're in that conversation now. And I know from our standpoint, we'd like to think we are. I would like to hear. That's maybe a question for Buster Olney when we talk to him about, are we in that mix of organizations that can be talked about? Is hey, man, the Royals are developing pitching instead of it always being somebody else. And
they're getting there.
I think so, and that's exciting to see. And I heard Jake talking about it yesterday too, and the stats about the game the night before. We were down. We had one hit through 7 innings. My neighbor was walking his dog last night. I was out making a fire in the fire pit, and he said, "Hey, on DraftKings last night after the 7th inning, the Royals were plus 7,000. So if you'd have put $10 on the Royals after the 7th inning on Tuesday, you could have made some big money. I wish I would have thrown it because I guess nobody had ever come back from getting one hit through 7 innings and down 4-0. I heard Curtis Seabolt with the stat yesterday. It was impressive. Like, really? And when you hear somebody say, "Hey, that's never been done before in Major League Baseball,"
I was ready to turn it off.
Yeah, well,
I don't blame anyone for turning it off.
To be honest with you, I was on Sunday. I'm listening to the game. We're up 6-1 early, and I maybe nodded off, took a little nap, and I woke up and we're down 7-6. Like, what the hell? And then for us to be able to come back and, win that game of that series, and I knew, oh man, we can't not keep beating up on the White Sox if we think we still got a shot at this because we're kind of treading water there at that 3. I would love to see us get it to 2 or 1.5 this homestand. We got an opportunity again this homestand to make some hay.
Here's another good stat that was posted by Nick Capel.
Yes, correct.
Big Nick. Major League Baseball rookie leaders. Minimum 10 games started. ERA. Number 1, Ryan Bergert, 267. Number 2, Cade Horton from the Cubs, stud, 288.
Oklahoma.
Number 3, Noah Cameron, 292. So when you look at Major League rookies, they have to have a minimum of 10 starts. The Royals have 2 of the top 3 as far as ERA of starting pitchers for rookies.
Yes.
Opponent's batting average, Mizorowski's number 1, and then Bergert's 2, Cameron's 3. Opponent's OPS, same thing, Mizorowski, Bergert, Cameron, and then WHIP, Cameron, Mizorowski, Bergert.
That's awesome.
2 rookies in this rotation right now, pitching well. They've pitched well. Sub-3 ERAs. I mean, I don't know what to tell you there.
Well, I mean, that's the fun thing is, back in March when we first started talking about this team, you talk a little bit about maybe the relievers depth we had in the minor leagues and some of the guys that we may plug in. And I always say, I wonder who we have down there because I know we're going to start with this 13, but throughout the course of the year, we're going to use 25 different pitchers. I mean, who's that going to be, and who's going to step up when given the opportunity, and all those different things. We always have, a whole bunch of different relievers got to go up and down based on, who gets hurt, all those different things, and roster moves and all that. But to have a guy like Noah Cameron in our system, and I think he's pitched better than anybody expected, other than him, I'm sure, with what he's gone out there and done. I mean, he's got to be in the top 3 for Rookie of the Year. I'm tired of not people putting him in that mix. I mean, obviously Nick Kurtz is going to run away with it, but after Nick Kurtz, I don't know why Noah Cameron isn't right there in the mix for being the second spot. And
he started to get some more recognition.
A little bit more lately.
Yeah.
And I don't know if – obviously Bobby Witt, where he finished in Rookie of the Year and all that kind of stuff, got us an extra draft pick. I don't know if, finishing second or being there. I don't know how the metrics or how the algorithm on that shakes out if we get, because we got a guy up and he ended up doing well, do we get some benefit for it down the road from the draft pick compensation standpoint? I'm not sure.
Also, Cole Reagans threw a 2-up bullpen yesterday. 20 pitches, sit for a bit, then 15 pitches. He said he felt good afterwards and liked where his pitch shapes are at this point. Next step could be facing hitters or some sort of simulated appearance on the field this weekend, early next week. This according to Andy Rogers. What about a 2-up bullpen? 20 pitches, sit for a bit, then 15 pitches.
Well, great news because, we said it when he first went down, and we've talked it at length because I went through it, shoulder problems, and all those things. You just kind of never know. And with Bubic, clearly after his wasn't feeling very good. I mean, quickly after that, they were like, nope, he's done for the year. And, Cole Reagans, after a little bit of evaluation, nope, I think we can rest him. No structural damage in there. If we can, take our time and massage our way back. And to be able to plug him in, he's not going to be at full length, 80 and 100 pitches or anything like that anytime quickly. But what a shot of adrenaline. It's like almost getting a guy, late in the trade deadline that we can plug into that rotation to be able to get us some extra innings and give the bullpen a little bit break. So that's super encouraging news.
We have Jaime Bluma in studio. You want to take a break, Jake? That's his name. Take a break, Jake. We'll be right back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Stephen St. John here for Healthy Sleep Midwest. And if you have been dealing with sleep apnea, if you have been dealing with a CPAP machine and it just doesn't work for you, then perhaps Healthy Sleep Midwest could be the answer. It was the answer for me, and they've helped me, and now I sleep better. I don't snore as much, which is very exciting for my wife. And so, look, with football back, baseball's getting all crazy now, and the playoffs are almost here. This is the perfect time to tackle your sleep apnea before all of the holiday chaos hits and everything that happens in the fall. At Healthy Sleep Midwest, you can ditch your CPAP for a small, custom oral appliance. They're one of the only offices in the metro that helps bill your medical insurance. And the best part, if you're a Medicare patient, you can pay little to nothing out of pocket. Medicare covers most or all of it. So call 816-SLEEP-DOCTOR, 816-SLEEP-DR, or visit HealthySleepMidwest.com, HealthySleepMidwest.com. Healthy Sleep Midwest, small device, big game changer. We're going to have Buster Olney on the show here in a few minutes. So let me hit some football notes. We're going to get more into the Rashee Rice suspension in the 8 o'clock hour with Gary Dieter and Anthony Sherman. The 3 quick points why I think Rashee Rice and the Chiefs can look at this as a positive that the suspension is happening for the first 6 games of the season. First of all, just you don't have to. It's not a dark cloud hanging over your head anymore, and you don't have to wait until what was it, September 20th? They were going to wait until
maybe September 30th.
When was it?
30th.
September 30th to get this thing addressed. You know, now they know what it is and they move on. And I'm quite sure that Rashee Rice and the Chiefs would rather, and people can break down the schedule. There is no easy part of the schedule. There is no schedule that's not important, part of the schedule that's not important. There is no schedule that doesn't have big highlight games, marquee games on national TV. It's the Chiefs. All the games are big. All the games matter. Okay? Would you like to have him for the entire season? Sure. Can't do it. All right? He deserves to be suspended. And so you get the suspension out of the way now. 6 games, be done, and then you know you're going to have him for the stretch run, and you know you're going to have him in November and December and into the playoffs. And so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to jack around with that. Okay, and Andy Reid, with plenty of time, knows, all right, these are the receivers I have. This is how we're going to game plan it, and then we'll get ready for the return of Rashee Rice in Week 7. Also, we just, I think, gloss over this, but he had a devastating knee injury last year. And now, and of course, when he's ready, you want to get him back in there.
Sure.
And I'm not saying he wouldn't have been ready to go Week 1. He probably would have, but this makes damn sure that knee is going to be strong and 100% when he comes back. That gives him an extra 6 weeks, and that means something. And so, like, okay, because guess what? Sometimes guys have come back a little too early or whatever, and I'm not saying that's the case, but now you're damn sure, because he's an important player, that gives you an extra month and a half where you can make sure that he's 110%. And it gives you some extra time to evaluate what you've got. What is Jalen Royals? What is this Brownlee kid? All right? What do you have in Tyquan Thornton? And you really get a chance these first 6 weeks to evaluate these younger or more unproven receivers to find out what you have. And then hopefully by the time Rashee Rice comes back, you have one of, if not the best receiving rooms you've had ever around Patrick Mahomes. And then also, there's no guarantee what this arbitrator was going to do.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, there had to have been some concern that
they wanted double digits.
It might have been 8 or 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
so what if you wait on this, and then what if it ends up being 8 or 10? There's no guarantee. Jake normally loves to roll the dice. I don't think the Chiefs and Rashee Rice felt like rolling the dice. And so if you're wondering, why would he agree to this? Because they didn't feel confident.
Right.
Am I wrong, Jake?
No, spot on. Spot on.
You want to play with this?
No. I think they felt 6 was fair. You know, I think
like they can want 4 all they want, but they weren't getting 4.
No.
And if you wait till the end of September, and then it's like 8 or 10, like what did we just do?
Right. I mean, Goodell
take the 6, get it done.
Goodell wanted, like you said, double digits.
Right. And this may be a dumb question, but could you place a bet on what the length of the suspension was going to be?
I mean,
Jake can place a bet on anything.
You got a guy. I mean, I don't know if you.
I don't know if it's on DraftKings.
Yeah,
I wonder.
I can talk to Vito for you, and he can take care of it if you want. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but listen.
My guy Mikey.
Okay, so we got that. So those are my initial thoughts. We'll talk more with Gary Dieter and Anthony Sherman. Did you disagree with anything there?
No, actually that's a great point. I didn't really ever think about the injury part of the whole equation. I mean, that's absolutely. It's an absolute plus.
Right. You're looking for, hey.
And he got almost the whole training camp to get to get in sync with Mahomes. So because he's not going to be able to work out with the team. That's the concern over the next 6 weeks. The suspension happens.
Rust factor.
Yeah, the suspension happens immediately. Just the timing, you worry about the timing, but the fact that he got training camp.
He was able to get plenty of work in a training camp.
Lots of training camp, preseason games. So
they're making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah,
that's it.
So can he not even be at the facility for 6 weeks?
He's gone.
Not at the facility at all.
He's going to work out
without pay.
And he said he knows that it's up to him. He's going to work his ass off in these 6 weeks and to come back ready to go. And he knows he has to because guess what? Everything he does now moving forward is about proving that he deserves a long-term deal in Kansas City.
Yep.
And it starts now because guess what? Everything he does away from the facility on his own, this is it.
Yeah. Well, I think he knows it too. I mean, just
hell yes, he better know it.
When you hear him talk and you say everything and the apology and the way he's approached it since that fiasco,
yes,
I think he's it's soaked in.
And also, Jake, can I offer you today's quote of the day?
Sure, I'd love it.
Since it's Mizzou football game day, Eli Drinkwitz on his coach's show, when he was asked about how he will evaluate the quarterbacks after the game tonight. Would you like to hear his quote?
Sure.
Tell me if you like it or not. Because you don't want to love Eli Drinkwitz, but you sure like him a lot.
No, I mean, we had a nice conversation about the Daily Stoic.
He said, is this not Eli Drinkwitz or not? I'll probably, so when asked about how he'll evaluate the quarterbacks after the game, I'll probably just read everyone's Twitter comment, and then based off that, I'll come up with a decision. So
yeah, right. Hey.
That's a good way to do it.
No, that's perfect.
All right, same as Mizzou fans, be sure to jump on X and
tweet at Eli Drinkwitz.
Let Coach drink what you think.
He's gonna be reading them.
I'm excited to see Sea of Red tonight. Well, Cincinnati
You're going
and
to the
Nebraska. I
game.
am. I'm going to go watch Little Mahomes, Dominic Raiola. Hopefully, carve up the Bearcats.
Nebraska.
Not if Travis Kelce can help it.
Is that what it is? -6.5.
-6.5. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cincinnati's getting 6.5.
I don't know.
It's so weird.
I don't know anything about Cincinnati. So
it's so weird.
I'll take Nebraska.
Big 12, Big 10 matchup.
I'll take the Kelce's.
Well, I'll give you the 6.5.
I don't know anything.
Did Jason go to Cincinnati as well? I bet they're there tonight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh no doubt.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Oh yeah. Get out
We'll
there.
take a break. Back after this on WHB.
New Day with SSJ is presented by Walker Medical Linen Services, locally owned and operated. HLAC certified to the highest medical laundry standards. Walker has partnerships with hospitals, surgery centers, and medical clinics in and around the metro area. Walker Medical Linen Services in Kansas City and online at walkermls.com.